Good evening. This is Michael Burke, Superintendent of the Rhinebeck School District, bringing you the second of our bond referendum live streams. We are bringing these live streams to you monthly so that you get an opportunity here in a short window to learn about the great things going on at Rhinebeck and our upcoming referendum on October 1st. There's a couple things I just want to mention before we get started. First, I am very lucky to be joined by two wonderful people, our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance, Ms. Carolyn Mahar, and our Athletic Director, Mr. Joe Ceglia, both of which are going to talk in a moment to give you some more information on the bond referendum and why we're doing this. A couple things I want to remind you of. First, the bond vote is Thursday, October 1st. Very big day for us here. Great opportunity for us of years of planning and getting feedback from our community to move forward here with this bond referendum. Thursday, October 1st is the vote. That is only 218 days away. I am well aware with the snow and all the weather that we have, it seems a lot further off than it really is, but it will certainly come quickly. If you have any questions, as always, email us bond@rhinebeck.org. All right, so we'll begin here. I'm going to start with Mr. Ceglia. Thank you so much, Mr. Ceglia, for joining us here. Joe, in regards to the athletic program, can you explain to us why now is the right time for the Rhinebeck schools and why this proposal would specifically benefit our athletic and our non-athletic programs?
Sure, Mike. Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity. Section 1 is comprised of over 80 schools. And within those schools of Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, we are actually the lone school that does not have an artificial playing surface or a turf field. Seasons have changed. Environmentally, you've seen the seasons have changed. The weather patterns have changed. It's become more and more difficult to not only maintain fields, but get them ready for upcoming play or to keep them in working order over the course of a season. That's also a product of the robust athletic program that we have, because if you have all natural grass fields, the key is to rest them or have some sort of a rotation. But due to the depth and breadth of our athletic program, we don't have the luxury of resting fields or keeping athletes off of them, which is a good thing. We have a ton of kids. We have over 700 athletes between the fall and the spring seasons on our fields across the modified through varsity levels. So it's a good problem that we have. In recent years, we've had to beg, borrow, rent, and ask our neighbors to utilize their athletic surfaces or their turf fields due to either wet fields that we have or a goal mouth maybe too wet to play because the grass has been worn out, or we have a pending weather storm coming in or rain, and we need to get the games in due to Section 1 standards and protocols. So we've had a lot of challenges with the current fields that we have, and it's the right time. Most recently, if you've been following our athletic season in the fall, our field hockey team, field hockey is a sport obviously on the ground. Our team had an exceptionally successful year where they went all the way to the sectional finals, and they had to face an opponent who is a turf team. So oftentimes there is a competitive disadvantage that our teams are at, whether it's regular season or in the postseason, because our athletes aren't used to or accustomed to playing on artificial surfaces. We have it isn't rare that we have sometimes up to 25% of our games, and that's not even including events such as practices that we had to either cancel or postpone. And that presents a lot of challenges. We want to give our student athletes as much opportunities to not be successful, but obviously that matters, but to have the opportunity to play and to do what they do best. So being able to own our own program and house our own games and competitions is certainly a added benefit, and one that we're the only school in Section 1 that is not able to do. So it certainly would be a wonderful thing. The latest storm that just came in, the blizzard, on March 9th, we start spring sports. So you're looking out the window and snow melts at a certainly slower rate on our fields and the grass than it would on a turf surface. So we're going to have some challenges right off the bat for our spring interscholastic teams. So certainly there's challenges, and artificial surfaces would aid in getting us up to speed with the rest of the section and region.
Joe, those are all great points. Now talk a little bit about how this will benefit our physical education classes as well. We had Mr. Lincoln, Sean Lincoln, provide a great presentation at the January Board of Ed meeting about some of the fantastic programs, units, and studies that our teachers have embraced to help teach and prepare our students for post-secondary life. This bond also helps the physical education classes as well, right?
Correct. And thank you for recognizing Sean's outstanding presentation. I hope that many of tonight's audience had an opportunity to see it. So when you think of, oftentimes you think of athletic fields just for sports, but the reality is they are teaching stations. So if we're able to have additional spaces to teach our physical education classes, especially at the secondary level here, 6 through 12. That enhances our program. Right now, from November until late March, we're gymnasium bound, and that's a challenge. So we've had to kind of customize our phys ed program to meet that. If we're able to get outside and use exterior turf fields to teach different lessons and expand our offerings, that would be a big help. Another opportunity would be for middle school potentially to use a recess, to be able to expand their recess area and not be confined to the concrete and the outdoor basketball playground. That would be a big added benefit. And we talk about lights. If we add lights, that adds to our ability to function. Not only lengthens our day to either have practice slots or competition slots, but it also, in those occasions where we have a heat index issue, where our teams need to be shut down because it's too hot out, we can now, with a lit facility, we could extend out our day, and once the threshold comes below a certain heat index, we'd certainly be able to use it. And lastly, but also importantly, we're a good partner with the recreation departments in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and the Rye Y as well. We rent our facilities to soccer, youth football, to indoor space. We also rent like crazy. So we would continue down that path to partner with them. Our Larchmont Mamaroneck Little League, which many of our athletes play in. We would continue to be able to be a resource for them, for the community, and offer just a wider range of opportunity for the community and for our athletes, and also athletes that are below the 6th grade level in our community.
Joe, really appreciate it. And now if you take a look, you can see the proposed athletic field redesign here. And this would be taking the space, which again, I said in the last live stream, I was so impressed with when I came to Rhinebeck. This is a great opportunity. This is unique here in Section 1 in Lower Westchester County. We have the opportunity to add two fields that would be lit, fields that will allow our athletes to practice. They wouldn't have to have a late time slot. We have some schools that only have one turf field, so they have to stagger practices. Joe would have to be shuffling who's going to be doing the late practice. Those are concerns, of course, with the studies as well. Baseball field improvements, dugouts, backstops, bleachers, softball field improvements as well. A multi-sport synthetic turf field with the bleachers and the field lighting. And I'll have another picture in a moment that will show you sort of a projection of what it would look like from the ground here. Tennis courts, drainage improvements. Of course, we went through this last time with the first live stream that was in January about how we have gone through a wetlands analysis and that we would be able to obviously keep this moving and drain it properly. An accessible parking lot and drop-off loop. You can see it there in the middle. I can set it up right now where you have this loop, which would really be impressive. It's something where parents have talked to us about this right here, where they can drop off handicap access. If we have graduation outside, you can walk here along the path and get yourself to the graduation if it's outside without having to worry about parking and getting pushed back and forth on a golf course. So a lot of great opportunities here. This next picture I'm extremely excited about. This is an actual view of what our Rhinebeck campus can look like. You can see the two fields. The one thing that is missing here, though, would be the concession area, which would be a great thing with the restrooms as well. That would be something that we would project right here. So you'd be looking at concession stands, restroom. If you notice here along the backdrop, the storage would be under the bleachers. So we'd be able to, again, maximize area. This would be a state-of-the-art track. You can see your throwing area. You still have a turf practice field as well. And then you have your softball as well as your baseball field. So just, again, great opportunity to maximize the space and become really the premier athletic facility in Section 1, and something that could be used and rented, as Joe said, by many other groups as well. Now, Carolyn, let's turn to maybe the most important part, as always, the finances. It's important to keep our community up, understanding the process of how we're going to finance this bond and how we always keep the tax impact at the forefront of the planning process. So, Carolyn, talk about the past bond history here in Rhinebeck and why this is really the ideal time to provide these necessary changes for the students and for the community.
Sure, Mike. So first off, we're also proposing some other work along with the athletic field renovation. In order to capture state aid on the site work portion of the athletic fields project, which is about 50%, state law requires that we also complete renovation or construction work in our corresponding buildings. So back in 2022, we did a really comprehensive state mandated building condition survey. And while we've been, slowly taking care of all those items, we did masonry work at Bellows and Warren and paving. There's some items we still need to address. So we're hoping when we do this bond, we also tie in some renovation work, and that includes door replacements, boiler upgrades, window repairs and replacements, HVAC unit replacements and potential additions, and also data cabling upgrade at the middle school, high school. And that will allow us to capture state aid on the entire project or the applicable pieces of the project, including the site work at the athletic fields.
Yeah, and that's a very important part that Mrs. Mahar is mentioning, is that we really are trying to make sure that we utilize all opportunities for grants and for some breakage that we can get from state aid. And in order to do that, we have to connect in work that is being done on the interior building that is located on the campus where this complex would be. So a great opportunity, as Mrs. Mahar said, for all of this work to be done, and something that is going to provide us financial relief when we're talking about the actual outdoor project as well. Let's take a look, Carolyn, at the tax implications of this bond referendum and what is the impact financially, let's say, over the next few years, or where we're at right now. It's still very early in the process, so we still don't have specific numbers. Those will come soon, but just talk generally about the bond referendum and the financial process.
Sure. So we're in a really ideal timing position in terms of bringing on new debt. This chart looks at the net annual principal and interest costs for Rhinebeck, and that's how much we pay on our bonds, principal and interest, net of any building aid that we receive every year. So what you'll see is the two red arrows in 28, 29, and 29, 30, we have pieces of debt that are maturing. So we have an opportunity here to borrow for the fields and the other renovation work project while keeping tax rates relatively stable.
Yeah, and that's the opportunity, is we want to make sure when the debt rolls off, that's what great schools do. There's opportunity there. We want to make sure that we're sensitive to the taxpayers, but we also want to make sure that we take advantage of that opportunity to make sure that we can provide the best overall education for the Rhinebeck students, for our staff, and for our community as a whole as well. So that is our summary right now. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Mrs. Mahar, Mr. Ceglia. Great job, as always, getting through some of the critical points. We want to keep these short. We want to keep them 8 to 12 minutes so that you can go back at your leisure and review them. We'll be bringing these to you once a month leading up to the October 1st referendum. Again, just some big days coming up. The bond vote is Thursday, October 1st. As I said, that was 218 days away. Please use bond@rhinebeck.org. We want to communicate with our stakeholders. You have questions, things come up. Have we thought of this? Please use that email. We will get back to you as soon as possible. And our next live stream will be Wednesday, March 25th. Again, staying on schedule once a month. Rhinebeck is an amazing, amazing school with great people, great students, and a great community. This can be a centerpiece for the entire community, and we're very excited to have the opportunity to talk to you about it. Thank you so much for everything, and we will see you again in 1 month.